Write this down. If your voice needs a title, you don't have leadership, you have insecurity. Say it with me. My voice is not for rent to a title. Again, my identity is my authority. I came tonight to offend the lie that has been paying your bills while stealing your birthright. You've been auditioning for rooms you were born to own. You are not an accident, you are an assignment. The problem is not that you lack permission. The problem is that you doubt design. When you borrow authority from a position, you confess that you don't believe you came with any. They can put letters behind your name because there's nothing standing up inside your name. That ends now. Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. Genesis 1:26. The Hebrew idea there, rad, to rule, was stamped on you before a company wrote a job description. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Titles expire. Assignments don't. Write this down. Leadership is not a label, it's a function. Influence is not an office, it's a responsibility. The crowd keeps asking, who's in charge? But destiny keeps answering, who's in purpose? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. If your belief system says you are a spectator, your mouth will keep asking for permission. But when your heart remembers you were designed for dominion, your words carry weight without a badge. Jesus said, you are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. Matthew 5:13, 1-4. Salt does not ask to season. Light does not beg to shine. They just function. I am going to give you 7 repeatable laws of influence: assignment, vision, credibility, confrontation, dignity, value, consistency. Not a performance trick, a way of being. You will practice them in meetings, in family conversations, in sales calls, in conflict at 3 in the morning, when emotions are high and patience is low. Leaders don't wait for microphones. They take responsibility for outcomes. Say this out loud. I will stop auditioning and start reporting for duty. Influence begins when your voice stops seeking approval and starts announcing assignment. Some of you have been quiet because you thought rank makes you righteous and silence makes you safe. No, if the blind lead the blind, both fall into a ditch. Matthew 15:14. Don't be impressed with power. Ask where we're going. Vision is more important than leadership. By the end of this session, you will test one law in your very next conversation, and you will feel the room shift. I promise you. Not because you shouted louder, but because you spoke from identity. Write this down. I am licensed by design, deployed by purpose. And beginning tonight, my voice will carry its own passport. Write this down. Leadership is function, not furniture. The question, who's the leader, has seduced you into looking for a chair. But leadership is not the seat you sit in, it's the value you release from the function you carry. Who's the leader? No one and everyone. Say it with me. No one and everyone. Let me show you. Picture a car engine. We love the shiny hood ornament. We brag about the horsepower. But the engine is a choir, pistons, plugs, belts, sensors, fluid lines, and yes, a little terminal wire nobody takes a photo of. And yet a $4 wire can shut the whole car down. Don't clap. Understand, importance in a system is context, not costume. Every part leads when it is functioning. The Apostle Paul said, for the body is not one member but many. The eye cannot say to the hand, I have no need of you. 1 Corinthians 12:14-21. Write this down. The moment you say, I'm not important, what you really mean is, I don't know my assignment. Your insignificance is not a fact, it's an ignorance. You don't become valuable by getting promoted. You become necessary by functioning. A spark plug is ordinary on a desk, but sovereign in an engine. So are you. Stop despising the domain that makes you essential. Some of you are trying to be the steering wheel because it looks visible, while your genius is the timing belt. And then you blame God for the rattle. No, function fixes the rattle. Deployment dignifies the part. Having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, let us use them. Romans 12:6. Write that down. Use them. not compare them. Use them. Now hear me. Power is not the same as influence. Power is enforced. Influence is invited. Power threatens. Influence attracts. Power can make you move. Influence makes you trust. For he taught them as one having authority and not as the scribes. Matthew 7:29. Jesus didn't intimidate, he illuminated. He revealed purpose so clearly that fishermen left nets without a memo. If you have to shout, bribe, or bully, you don't have influence, you have noise. Leadership is not turning up the volume, it is turning on the light. Write this down. Here is the governing question for everything we will practice. How do I add value with my words so people trust my direction? Not how do I sound smart, not how do I get the credit. How do I serve clarity, reduce confusion, connect dots, and solve problems with my mouth? In the staff meeting, at the dinner table, on a client call, your voice must become useful before it becomes loud. My sheep hear my voice and they follow, John 10:27. They don't follow loud, they follow value. So if leadership is function, then speaking like a leader is speaking like a person who knows their function. Say it with me. I know my function, therefore my voice has function. When you talk from assignment, rooms recalibrate. When you describe destination, anxiety drops. When your yes carries weight, trust follows. We're about to build a language that makes your presence necessary, no seat required. Before you open your mouth, set your heart. Write this down. Leadership is 80% mentality and 20% skill. Your words will never outrun your belief system. Fix the heart and the mouth will follow. The heart in scripture is not the organ that pumps blood. It is the control center of belief. The Hebrew word is lev, the seat of thinking, conviction, imagination. Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23. That means your tone, your hesitation, your posture are theological statements. They reveal what you worship and what you fear. You can memorize scripts and polish slides, but if your heart doubts your assignment, your mouth will whisper it. Out of the abundance of the heart, his mouth speaks. Luke 6:45. Let me show you two people in the same room. The first has vocabulary, elegant adjectives, strategic models, a dozen acronyms. They talk long, but the room doesn't move. Why? There's no weight on the words, no belief. The second stands up with simple sentences. Here is where we are. Here is where we're going. Here is the next right step. No orchestra, no hype. And yet the room leans forward. Decisions are made and timelines appear on whiteboards. What's the difference? Conviction. For he taught them as one having authority and not as the scribes. Matthew 7:29. The scribes had information. Jesus had revelation. Write this down. Vocabulary without conviction is entertainment. Simplicity with certainty is leadership. Your culture has set speed limits on your soul. They posted 35 miles per hour on your potential. Family narratives, office politics, failed attempts, a supervisor's opinion. So you drive your voice at 35 even though your design is calibrated for 170. Your speedometer is your purpose installed by the manufacturer. Your speed limit signs are your culture installed by people who prefer you tamed. Which one are you obeying? I drove on the Autobahn once and discovered there was life after 170. The limit was not the car, it was my mind. Write this down. Stop driving your mouth by the sign. Start driving your mouth by the gauge. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Your eyes say that's an elephant. Your belief says that's lunch. The lion is not the strongest, but he leads because of attitude. It's not the size of your words, it's the size of your certainty. Say it with me. I was created to lead. My voice carries assignment. Again, I was created to lead. My voice carries assignment. One more time, like you mean it. I was created to lead. My voice carries assignment. When that settles in your heart, your tongue will change without forcing it. Your pauses will be short because hesitation is replaced by clarity. Your tone will be calm because anxiety is replaced by vision. Your request will be precise because you are no longer begging approval. You are reporting duty. Write this down. Once identity is set, The laws of influence are not performance tricks, they are natural outputs. Assignment will give your words origin. Vision will give your words destination. Credibility will give your words weight. Confrontation will give your words boundaries. Dignity will give your words honor. Value will make your words necessary. Consistency will make your words culture. Fix the heart, and your mouth will stop auditioning and start leading. We are about to train your tongue, but first we have trained your belief. Write this down. Law number 1, speak from assignment, not approval. Influence begins when you stop auditioning and start reporting for duty. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1-5. Say it with me. I am not an accident. I am an assignment. Again, louder. I am not an accident. I am an assignment. When you believe that, your sentences stop begging for permission and start delivering purpose. Approval seeking sounds like this. Sorry to bother you. I might be wrong, but this is just my opinion. If it makes sense, maybe we could kinda. That is the language of people who forgot who sent them. It produces weak sentences, long disclaimers, and rooms full of confusion. You are not rude, you are just unclear. Jesus was never unclear. I must be about my Father's business, Luke 2:49. My food is to do the will of him who sent me and to finish his work, John 4:34. That is assignment, language, origin, intent, and outcome in one breath. Write this down. Assignment language equals clear intent, respectful certainty, and measurable outcomes. It sounds like here is the objective, here are the constraints, here is the next right step, the owner and the deadline. That is not arrogance, that is stewardship. For do I now persuade men or God? Or do I seek to please men? For if I still please men, I would not be a servant of Christ. Galatians 1:10. Servants of purpose do not pander, they clarify. Let me help your mouth right now. Phrase swaps for leaders. I might be wrong, but becomes, here's what I see and what I recommend. Tell me what I'm missing. Just my 2 cents becomes, based on the data from last quarter, the prudent move is to shift 15% of budget to channel X by Friday. Sorry to push becomes to deliver the client outcome. I need your decision by 3 p.m. today. Does that make sense? Becomes to confirm alignment. We're agreeing to A, B, and C, correct? I don't want to step on toes. Becomes my responsibility is quality. Here's the gap and here's the fix. Nehemiah was not a king, but listen to assignment in his voice. I am doing a great work so that I cannot come down. Nehemiah 6:3. No title, only task, no permission slip, only purpose. Write it down. Authority is not volume, it is origin. When your words come from who sent you, they carry weight without shouting. Stop apologizing for existing. Stop shrinking sentences to fit small expectations. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Speak from work. Lead with intent. Then measure what you said by what occurred. If your words don't become reality, your influence becomes entertainment. Say it with me. I report for duty. My mouth serves my mission. Now, once assignment sets your origin, the next necessity is vision, because people don't move for task alone, they move for destination. Vision is more important than leadership. So after you declare why you're here, you must describe where we're going. We go there next. Write this down. Law number 2, speak vision before instruction. Don't tell people what to do until you tell them where we're going. Vision is more important than leadership, because leadership without destination is noise. If you cannot describe a future, you have no authority in the present. Jesus said, if the blind lead the blind, both will fall into a ditch. Matthew 15:14. Blindness is not the absence of eyes, it is the absence of destination. Don't be impressed with power, ask where we're going. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Proverbs 29:18. The Hebrew word there is chazon, prophetic sight, revealed picture. Without chazon, people cast off restraint. They wander, they drift, they argue about tasks because no one has painted the end state. Write this down. People don't follow your instructions. They follow your clarity of destination. Jesus never started with tasks. He started with a picture. Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. Matthew 4:19. That's future tense. Identity upgraded. Outcome defined. Only then did nets drop and feet move. Leaders talk in the future. Say it with me. I speak from tomorrow into today. Again, I speak from tomorrow into today. Your language must paint outcomes, standards, and timelines before you assign steps. Write the vision and make it plain, that he may run who reads it. Habakkuk 2:2. Plain means simple, portable, repeatable. If the team can't run with it, you didn't make it plain, you made it poetic. Here's your meeting structure. First 20 seconds, vision. Here's the win. State the desired future with a date on it. Example, by June 30, our clients experience a 25% faster response time without increasing costs. Next 60 seconds, stakes. Here's why it matters. Tie the vision to purpose, risk, and reward. This protects trust, differentiates us in the market, and secures Q3 revenue. Only then tasks. Here's how we will get there. Owners, deadlines, and quality bars. If you reverse that order, you get activity without alignment. Write this down. Without destination, instructions produce motion. With destination, instructions produce progress. Bring this home in your house. The win this weekend is a peaceful home. By Sunday night, meals prepped, laundry done, kids rested. Why it matters. Monday, sanity and emotional safety. Tasks, you handle meals, I handle schedules. Kids do rooms by 5 p.m. In your ministry, by Easter, every first-time visitor is welcome, seated, followed up within 24 hours. Why? Souls are not numbers. They are assignments. How? Teams A, B, C with scripts and timelines. That is leadership in the future tense. Write this down. Vision attracts. Credibility sustains. A clear destination pulls people to you. But if your words never become reality, they will stop believing you. That's our next law. Let your yes have weight. But before we go there, settle this. From now on, your mouth paints the map, then delegates the miles. Say it with me. I declare the destination before I distribute the duties. Write this down. Law number 3. Let your yes have weight. Credibility is the currency of influence. People don't follow you because you sound intelligent. They follow you because you keep accounts. Every promise is a deposit or a withdrawal. When your words become reality, your balance grows. When your words float and miss, your influence goes into overdraft. Let your yes be yes and your no, no, the 537. God is saying, don't issue checks your character cannot cash. If your words don't become reality, your influence becomes entertainment. Say it with me. My yes has weight. Again, my yes has weight. Some of you are suffering from verbal inflation. Too many words, too many superlatives, too many commitments, and nothing clears the bank. Inflation devalues currency. Chatter devalues credibility. When everything is urgent, nothing is urgent. When every idea is game-changing, nothing changes. Write this down. Dramatic language cannot replace dependable behavior. Disciplined speech is the leader's treasury. Commit to fewer things. Deliver faster. Report completion before they ask. Your words will gain gravity. He who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. Luke 16:10. You don't build trust with a keynote. You build it with a kept Tuesday. Stop forecasting miracles. Promise measurables. Talk in dates, deliverables, and owners. Speak only what you're willing to be measured by. Practical habits to make your yes heavy. At the end of every meeting, recap aloud. By whom, by when, by what standard. Then send it in writing within 30 minutes. That's not bureaucracy. That's stewardship. Define, done. If you say, I'll handle it, specify scope and deadline, I will submit the draft by 3 p.m. Thursday. Version, proof with citations. Close loops publicly. When you finish, announce completion with evidence. Delivered per spec. Link attached. Client confirmed receipt. This is not bragging, it is accounting. Influencers keep ledgers. Guard your mouth. from casual yeses. Ecclesiastes warns, when you make a vow to God, do not delay to pay it. Better not to vow than to vow and not pay. Ecclesiastes 5:4-5. Apply that to your calendar. If you cannot do it, say no. Your no is holy because it protects the integrity of your yes. Say it with me. My no has a spine. Again, my no has a spine. Free people are not cheap with promises. They are precise. Track your promises like invoices. Keep a simple list. Open commitments, due dates, stakeholders. Review it daily. If a date slips, get in front of it early with a new plan, not an excuse. Own misses without theater. I failed to deliver by Tuesday. Here's the cause, the fix, and the new delivery. Friday, 10 a.m. Leaders don't Photoshop reality, they repair it. James said, faith without works is dead. James 2:17. Your words are faith. Your delivery is works. Marry them. Write this down. Credibility isn't only what you do when it's sunny. It's how you speak and act when the weather turns. Pressure will test your promises. Conflict will test your consistency. We go there next. Because leadership is born when toleration ends, and your credibility must hold its weight when you confront what you've been tolerating. Write this down. Law number 4, confront what you tolerate. Toleration is the graveyard of leaders. Say with me, leadership is born when toleration ends. Again, louder. Leadership is born when toleration ends. Your leadership is measured by the standard you enforce, not the comfort you preserve. Open rebuke is better than secret love. Proverbs 27:5. If you keep the peace by keeping the problem, you are not leading, you are babysitting dysfunction. Rosa sat down and history stood up. She decided to stop praying only and start acting. That day, her words were few, but her standard was high. No, not hatred, not a tantrum, a boundary. James said, show me your faith without works, and I will show you my faith by my works. James 2:18. Write this down. Courage is expressed through decisions and sentences. She confronted a tolerated norm with a clean no, and buses, laws, and minds began to move. Whatever you tolerate, you will never change. Clean confrontation. Hear me, we are not talking about emotional dumping, sarcasm, or public humiliation. That is immaturity masquerading as strength. Speak the truth in love. Ephesians 4:15. Jesus gives the process. If your brother sins against you, go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. Matthew 18:15. Address behavior, name impact, call the standard without attacking identity. You are not smashing the engine, you are tightening the bolt. Here is your script. Write it down and practice it until your tongue can find it under pressure. When X happens, it causes Y. The standard is Z. Can we agree to A by B? Simple, specific, stewardly. Example at work. When deadlines slip without notice, it causes client distrust and rework. The standard is 24-hour advanced communication on risks. Can we agree that by 3 p.m. today, you'll send an updated timeline and identify blockers? Example at home. When dishes sit overnight, it causes ants and morning stress. Our standard is clean counters by 9 p.m. Can we agree that starting tonight, we all clear our space before 8:45 ministry? When follow-up calls are missed, people feel unseen. Our standard is contact within 2-4 hours. Can we agree to complete last Sunday's list by 6 p.m. and confirm in the tracker, calm voice, steady eyes, measurable ask, then wait for agreement? If they agree, you document and inspect. If they refuse, you escalate with grace and firmness. Write this down. What you permit, you promote. What you inspect, you protect. Some of you confuse peacekeeping with peacemaking. Peacekeeping avoids tension. Peacemaking forges order. Blessed are the peacemakers. Matthew 5-9, makers, not avoiders. Jesus confronted dysfunction without apology. He cleaned the temple because zeal for the standard consumed him. John 2:17. Paul confronted Peter to his face when compromise threatened the gospel. Galatians 2:11. That was not cruelty, that was covenant protection. Say it with me. My standard serves our future. After confrontation, restore dignity. People will remember how you made them feel while you corrected what they did. Jesus told the woman caught in adultery, neither do I condemn you, go and sin no more. John 8:11. Truth and dignity in one breath. If anyone is caught in a trespass, you who are spiritual, restore such a one in a spirit of gentleness. Galatians 6:1. Correction without contempt. Boundary without belittling. Because influence grows where people feel seen. We go there and speak to the king in people, because dignity awakens dominion. Write this down. Law number 5. Speak to the king in people. Dignity creates voluntary followership. People don't just need direction, they need dignity, because dignity awakens dominion. You can correct behavior and still crown identity. The Bible says death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. Your mouth is a coronation or a funeral. Choose life. Leaders call it identity, not just activity. God found Gideon hiding and called him by his future, not his fear. The Lord is with you, you mighty man of valor. Judges 6:12. He didn't say you coward in a wine press. He used manufacturer language. He spoke to design, not dysfunction. Write this down. There is a leader trapped in every follower. Your words introduce them to themselves. Say it with me. I speak to design, not to dysfunction. Again, I speak to design, not to dysfunction. Contrast this with manipulation. Flattery tries to control. Dignity tries to awaken. Flattery tells you what you want to hear to rent your will. Dignity tells you who you are to release your will. Proverbs warns, a man who flatters his neighbor spreads a net for his feet. Proverbs 29:5. Nets catch, crowns release. Jesus looked at a volatile fisherman and renamed him. You are Simon, you shall be called Cephas. John 1:42. He didn't butter him up, he built him up. Identity first, then instruction. Write this down. Manipulation harvests compliance. Dignity births commitment. How do you speak dignity in real rooms? Very simple. Praise specifically, not vaguely. Honor the gift, the effort, the improvement. Your analysis exposed the real risk. That clarity protected the team. I saw you stay late and fix the draft. Excellence looks like that. You were 10 minutes faster this week. That growth matters. Vague compliments feel like sugar. Specific honor feels like nutrition. Ephesians 4:29 says, let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good for edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. Edify means build structure into someone. Use your sentences like scaffolding. Correct privately. Honor publicly. That is not politics. That is protection of dignity. Jesus restored Peter by the fire after failure, then recommissioned him in front of others. Feed my sheep, John 21:17. He dealt with sin, then crowned assignment. Do the same in conflict. Your value to this team is strategic thinking. When deadlines slip, it conflicts with who you are. The standard is X. I'm calling you back to your strength. You are not ignoring the gap. You are summoning the king in your home. Son, you are disciplined and creative. That's why the room matters. Excellence is your nature. Let's make your space agree with who you are. In ministry, you are a shepherd. Shepherds notice, follow-up is not a task, it's your DNA. At work, you're the best at clear synthesis. Lead the debrief. Your gift brings order. This is manufacturer language. Genesis 1:26, stamped on speech. You speak from image and likeness, and people rise to the name you give them. David attracted distressed men and spoke to their royalty until they became mighty men. 1 Samuel 22:2. Write this down. People become what trusted voices call them. Say it with me. I dignify before I direct. Again, I dignify before I direct. Because honor opens the ear. But hear me, honor without competence is sentiment. Dignity must be paired with delivery. We go next to law number 6. Add value before you ask for permission. Your words must not only crown identity, they must create results. Write this down. Law number 6. Add value before you ask for permission. Leaders don't beg for influence, they build it. Stop asking to be heard. Start being useful and your voice will become necessary. Scripture says a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. Proverbs 18:16. The Hebrew word there is matan. Your present, your offering. Titles announce. Gifts open doors. Influence comes by service. Jesus said the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve. Mark 10:45. If the king served, who are you to audition for applause before you deliver value? Say it with me. I add value before I ask for permission. Again, I add value before I ask for permission. Your job is what they pay you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. Employment is a contract. Deployment is a calling. Speak like a deployed person. When your mouth sounds like survival, fearful, tentative, needy, you drain trust. When your mouth sounds like work, solution-centered, future-facing, accountable, you bank trust. Write this down. Don't bring me your hunger, bring me your harvest. Stop bringing only problems and emotions. That's complaint. Bring problems with options, trade-offs, and next steps. That's leadership. Nehemiah surveyed the ruins quietly, then presented a plan, resources, and timelines. And the people said, let us rise up and build. Nehemiah 2:18. He didn't ask, can I speak? He solved, then spoke. Your gift will make the room rearrange chairs without you touching a seat. Here is the framework. Tattoo it on your tongue. Here's the issue. Here are 2 or 3 options with trade-offs. Here's my recommendation. Here's what I need. Simple, stewardly, strong. Example at work. Issue. Client churn is up 12% in 60 days. Option 1, increased discounts, fast relief, long-term margin pain. Option 2, implement a 2-4-hour follow-up protocol. Slower setup, durable trust. Option 3, sunset. 2 low-value features, saves focus, risk of backlash. My recommendation, option 2 with a 2-week pilot. What I need, approval for a 2-person task force and 10 hours of dev time. Decision by 3 p.m. That's solution speech. It smells like work, not whining. In ministry, issue. First-time visitors are slipping through. Options. New greeting station visible. Cost $500. Remap follow-up calls. Free needs training. Add SMS workflow. Automation. Requires setup. Recommendation. Remap calls this week. Train Saturday. Measure next Sunday. Need 3 volunteers and an hour room reservation. In your house, issue. Morning chaos. Options. Prep close at night. Discipline. Standard breakfast menu repeatable. Earlier lights out. Resistance at first. Recommendation. Close and menu tonight. Adjust bedtime Friday. Need everyone's agreement by dinner. Write this down. Useful voices create lift. Needy voices create drag. Guard your motive. If your energy is pick me, your solutions will be theatrical and thin. If your energy is let me serve, your solutions will be quiet and heavy. Leaders don't sell themselves. They serve solutions until buying them becomes obvious. Paul said, I will very gladly spend and be spent for your souls. 2 Corinthians 12:15. Spend yourself on outcomes, not optics. Now hear me. Value must be visible and it must be repeated. One solved problem wins a moment. Repeated usefulness builds a reputation. We go there next. Once you add value, you must communicate with consistency, because inconsistency confuses trust. Say it with me. I will repeat the standard until the room changes. Write this down. Law number 7, repeat the standard until the room changes. Consistency is how culture is built. Leaders are repeaters. They don't say important things once. They establish law through repetition. This book of the law shall not depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate in it day and night, for then you will make your way prosperous. Joshua 1-8. Notice mouth, not memory alone. Repetition creates reflex. Say it with me. I repeat the standard until the room changes. Again, I repeat the standard until the room changes. Culture isn't what you announce. Culture is what you allow and what you repeat. Whatever gets repeated gets respected. Whatever's unclear becomes optional. The scripture commanded Israel, you shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit, when you walk, when you lie down, and when you rise. Deuteronomy 6-7. That's not a seminar. That's a cadence. God builds nations with sentences on repeat. Write this down. Influence becomes inheritance when language becomes liturgy. Practical tools. Start every meeting with a standard sentence that pins the room to the plumb line. Opening line, here's the win, here's the standard, here's how we'll measure. Every week, drop your standard phrases into every channel, on time, in full, no excuses. We speak from assignment, not approval. Outcomes over optics. We confront privately, we honor publicly. Consistent decision filters anchor direction. Does this serve our assignment? Does it advance the vision? Does it protect the standard? Does it add value before asking? Does it align with what we already said yes to? If it fails the filters, it fails us. For if the trumpet gives an uncertain sound, who will prepare for battle? 1 Corinthians 14-8. Your repeated phrases are the trumpet call. Clarity readies people for war. Beware of charisma without direction. Don't be impressed with power. Ask where we're going. Repetition keeps vision anchored so energy doesn't drift into entertainment. The devil loves novelty because novelty dilutes standards. Leaders master sameness. They say the right thing the same way, so often that deviation feels foreign. Write this down. Consistency is the drum that trains feet to march without looking at the floor. At home, make the refrigerator your liturgy board. We end the day prepared for tomorrow. We speak to design, not to dysfunction. We finish what we start. In ministry, close every service with the same 3 lines tied to assignment and follow-up. In business, end every stand-up with the same accountability role. Owner, deadline, quality bar, spoken, then sent. Not because you lack creativity, but because you refuse confusion. Say it with me. My language is so consistent that standards become automatic. Again, standards become automatic. This is where the 7 laws lock together. Assignment gives origin. Vision gives direction. Credibility gives weight. Confrontation guards the line. Dignity crowns the people. Value proves the words. Consistency turns moments into culture. Now we will integrate them into real rooms. The 3 conversation blueprint. The meeting, the conflict, and the opportunity, so you can use these laws in real time. Write this down. These laws are not a speech style. They are a leadership operating system for everyday conversations. So let's install them in real time. 3 rooms you walk into every week. The meeting, the conflict, and the opportunity. Blueprint 1, the meeting. Sequence matters. Assignment opener, vision outcome, value options, clear commitments. Step 1, assignment opener. I'm here to steward outcomes for our clients. Law 1. You are not auditioning. You are reporting for duty. Step 2, vision outcome. By June 30, we will reduce response time by 25% without raising costs. Law 2, Habakkuk 2:2. Write it plain so runners can run. Step 3, value options. Option A, reroute tickets fast, risk burnout. Option B, automate triage setup time, durable gain. Option C, higher temp, costly, quick relief. My recommendation, option B, with a 2-week pilot. Law 6, Proverbs 18:16. Let the gift make room through usefulness. Step 4, clear commitments. Owner, Dana. Deadline, June 1. Standard, fear octu, shoe uptime, error rate under 1%. I will report progress every Friday at 3 p.m. Law 3, Matthew 5:37. Let your yes be yes. That's a 90-second frame that turns talk into traction. Blueprint 2, the conflict. refuse toleration, speak dignity, set standard with agreement, repeat the expectation. Step 1, refuse toleration. We will not normalize missed deadlines. Law 4, leadership is born when toleration ends. Step 2, dignity language. You are strategic and dependable. This gap doesn't match who you are. Law 5, Judges 6:12, speak to design. Step 3, standard plus agreement. When updates slip, trust erodes. Our standard is 2-4-hour risk notice. Can we agree you'll send the status by 3 p.m. with blockers listed? Wait for yes and document it. Law 3, Matthew 18:15. Go to your brother directly. Step 4, repeat the expectation. As stated, 3 p.m. daily updates. We'll review this cadence for the next 2 weeks. Law 7, 1 Corinthians 14:8. Clear trumpet. Correction without contempt. Boundary without belittling. Colossians 4:6. Let your speech be with grace and salt. Blueprint 3, the opportunity, articulate destination, show track record, ask clearly for what you need. Step 1, destination. Here's where we're going. A scholarship fund serving 100 students by December 31. Law 2. Step 2, track record. In the last 90 days, we delivered 2 pilots on time and under budget, and donor retention rose 18%. Law 3, credibility. Step 3, clear ask anchored in value and assignment. To deliver that future, we need a $50,000 bridge, access to your alumni list, and a 20-minute board slot next Tuesday. I am sent to build this. This is my assignment. Law 6:1. No begging, build value, then ask with backbone. Quick self-audit. Under pressure, which law do you violate? Do you reach for approval and lose assignment? Do you grow vague and starve vision? Do you tolerate and call it peace? Do you get inconsistent and confuse the room? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Tell the truth to yourself so you can change your speech. Say it with me. I am not an accident. I am an assignment. My voice is useful, credible, and consistent. In the next 48 hours, I will deploy these blueprints in a meeting, in a conflict, and in an opportunity. Courage will carry my sentences, and results will follow my words. Now let's go speak like we were sent. Write this down. If your voice needed a title, it wasn't leadership, it was insecurity. But here is the promise we walk out with tonight. My voice doesn't need a title. My voice carries assignment. Say it with me. My voice carries assignment. Again, louder, my voice carries assignment. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1-5. You are not an accident. You are an assignment. Leaders are born when toleration ends and destiny begins. Now seal this in your mouth. Say it with me. I was created to lead. Again, I was created to lead. Genesis 1:26. Let us make man in our image and let them have dominion. That is manufacturer language. You were designed to dominate in your domain. Say it with me. I will not tolerate what cancels my future. Again, I will not tolerate what cancels my future. Whatever you tolerate, you will never change. Say it. I speak vision. Again, I speak vision. Write the vision and make it plain. Habakkuk 2:2. My words paint the destination before they schedule the tasks. Declare the rest. My yes has weight. I confront what I tolerate. I speak to design, not dysfunction. I add value before I ask for permission. I repeat the standard until the room changes. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. Your mouth is steering your future. Anchor it to assignment. This book of the law shall not depart from your mouth, for then you will make your way prosperous. Joshua 1-8. Notice mouth, then movement. Here is your 8-hour challenge. Choose one conversation, just one. A meeting, a conflict, or an opportunity. Apply at least 2 laws. Example 1, assignment plus vision. Open with why you're sent, then where we going. Example 2, confrontation plus dignity. Name the standard, crown the person. Example 3, credibility plus consistency. Commit in dates and deliver on time. Write a 3-sentence plan before you speak. Here's the issue. Here's the destination or standard. Here's my ask by when. Then go speak it. Measure the outcome. In the next 48 hours, report your result. Who was the room? Which 2 laws you used? And what changed? Don't wait for applause. Submit evidence. Leaders keep ledgers. Say it with me. I deploy within 48 hours. Again, I deploy within 48 hours. Paul said, I believed, therefore I spoke. 2 Corinthians 4:13. Belief without deployment is religion. Belief with deployment is leadership. You don't become influential by getting promoted. You become influential by deploying your voice with purpose. Final paradox. Tattoo it on your mind. Who's the leader? No one. And when everyone functions, a $4 wire can stop the car, and a single sentence can start a city. Don't be impressed with power. Ask where we're going. Then open your mouth and take us there. Keep training your tongue. Rehearse the 7 laws daily. Study, speak, deliver, repeat. Leadership is learned through repeated deployment. Say it with me. The world needs me. Louder. The world needs me. Now go report for duty.